Okay, so today on This and That, I'm going to teach you how to turn these into this, which is a Carolina Reaper Ghost Chili Blend hot sauce that will likely torment anyone you know. Okay, so you probably want to grab a Home Depot bucket. It's easy to throw the peppers in there when you're pulling them off the plant. The other thing you want to make sure you do, if you can, is get the stem off. It just makes it easier in the whole process. So pull the stem off there, drop it in, and away we go. Don't worry, I'll fast forward a lot of this because you're going to see a lot of just peppers coming off a plant. Okay, here we go. If you get to one that looks not, obviously, like it's already started to deteriorate or rot, you probably don't want to use it. So have a trash can or something nearby to toss that one into, and I'll grab one now. And the other thing you could do is, notice I have gloves on, but you know, if you're not sure, you can always open the pepper up and see if there's any internal rot. This one does not have any, and this one is going to be very fiery. So I'll probably, man, you can smell the heat already. This is gonna be hot. So I'll set this one aside because I've already opened it up, and I don't want the water to get in there and wash out some of the heat. But good to know. So, here we go, and they are all, well, at least picked now. So, next step would be to wash them all off and get them ready to process. Okay, welcome back. We are now at the point where we have picked them all, washed them, got them relatively dry, and now we're ready to start the first part of the fermentation process in making your own hot sauce. Again, let me just caution you by saying these are Carolina Reapers and Ghost Chilies. While there are a few that are hotter than this, these are up towards the very top end of it. I believe there's only, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 that are actually considered hotter than a Carolina Reaper, if even that many. And I'm sure someone that knows scores more about the pepper world will correct me on a comment. But regardless, these are very, very hot. So when you're working with them, make sure that you have good gloves. These are actually a medical grade glove. It's not going to let that oil through into your skin. They're tear resistant. They're of higher quality than just like a food service glove. Because if you're in the middle of this and these gloves rip and you get that oil on your skin, you will feel it on your skin, and then inevitably, even later on that evening, when you think you've washed it off, you go to touch your nose, that your nose or like rub your eye or something, they'll be in a world of hurt. Also, and I don't care, you can make fun of me if you want, but when you're grinding these things up, I'm gonna wear a face shield with a respirator grade quality air filter on it, because this when it gets aerosolized will get in your lungs. You will cough up like crazy. I mean, this is what they actually weaponize when they use things like this, when they use to make pepper spray. I mean, this is what we're talking about. So you don't want any of this in your lungs. You don't want to get it exposed on your skin to where you can touch your eyes or something else with it. It will definitely burn. So, make sure you're using caution whenever you're working with this stuff. But regardless, let's get going here, and let me show you before I put on the crazy mask and probably not be understandable from that point on in the video. I do want to talk about just a few basic ingredients or a few things that you'll need in order to make a hot sauce. For, it's the pepper of your choosing. I'm using this, insanity type pepper just because, I don't know, I figure it's more of a practical joke, and if you have a death wish or something and you want to just go this route, you can. But if you have you want to use jalapenos, you can, or cayennes or habaneros. The process is the same. We're essentially going to grind these up and let them ferment a couple days, and we'll come back. We'll do the next step of the process. But all you really need are the peppers, kosher salt here, I like to use, and garlic, and then we'll add some water at the end once we grind this up. But we're just really going to grind this into a paste and, add a little bit of water, and then you cover it with saran wrap, and then it ferments for a while. So without further ado, let me get going. I guess I'll take these off.
Okay, I'm not going to take this mask off because I know there's peppers in there, but we are basically done with this part of the process. Now all we got to do is add this to here. And we're going to add some water. We're going to add some water to the chili paste of this ground up Ghost and Carolina Reaper. So the last step would be to add water. I'm going to add, I've got a couple cups right here. I'm going to add that in. That actually looks about right. So really from here, we'll cover this up with saran wrap. And then literally it just sits for a couple days and ferments. So we're starting the fermentation process. And this is where you start to get some complexity in the hot sauce itself. Not that, I don't know. It's hard to get complexity with something that's just this hot.
Okay, welcome back. We are ready to begin the last and final phase of this project, and that will be straining the Ghost Chili and Carolina Reaper pepper hot sauce puree through a strainer and into this glass jar. We're going to add some vinegar to it as well to give it a little bit of that vinegary flavor. I like a nice vinegary hot sauce. I just think it tastes better. Now, interestingly enough though, you can go the other route. You can just take it as it is, add the vinegar to it, puree it in a blender, and go from there. And that's fine too. You'll get a more meaty kind of type sauce. I like this to be more like a Tabasco sauce, so I'm going to add the vinegar and strain it out. Easy to do. All you really need, a lot of recipes they'll call for cheesecloth, which is a fine, good thing to use. But the cheesecloth sometimes can rip after a certain amount of time, and it's not as sturdy. So a nice, easy solution to that is a microfiber towel. If you can get a brand new microfiber towel, pretty easy to find. I think I buy like a 36 pack at Costco or Sam's Club for 20 bucks. And these are really handy because you can strain and strain and strain with these, and they will not break. And they do a good job of straining out the pulp from the actual pepper juice. So, okay, let's go, I think. So let's add this vinegar in here. I'm gonna try to add, I don't have a lot of room in this particular bowl, but I'll add 4 cups or so to start with and see how that is. You can always add vinegar if you'd like to at the end. It certainly will mix it. It's not gonna hurt anything. So I just use, this is Heinz distilled white. You can use whatever you want, but I like this because it's a neutral vinegar, if that kind of makes sense. I've used apple cider vinegar, which is totally fine to use, but that will give a certain sweetness to it. So if you like a little sweetness with your hot, add some apple cider vinegar to it. But other than that, I just like to get the taste of the pepper and the kick of the vinegar. So I'll add this in there. I'll start with 2 cups here and see where that lands me in my room for the bowl. So here's 2 cups, give or take. I definitely want to add a couple more. Okay. So that's 4 cups vinegar. That is going to be a good starting point, I think, for this. I'll kind of mix this up a little bit. Be very careful. I don't have the respirator on, thankfully. I don't think I'm going to need it because I'm not grinding any of the peppers, but still, you don't want to get any of this on your skin. Obviously, you don't want to be breathing too closely to it, and you don't want it, definitely in your eyes and whatnot. So when you're stirring or you're straining or any of that, be very careful not to get this on you. So I'll stir it up here. That's pretty good for now. And again, you can definitely add more vinegar at the end, and which we can do. So, but you do it to taste. But being that this is kind of a bigger batch of hot peppers, I added 4 cups. And every recipe just depends on what you like, but this is pretty good. Okay, I've got it pretty well stirred in now. May seem like I'm being extra precautious, because I am. How I start this is I just grab a strainer. I have a fine mesh strainer and a soup ladle, and I put it over this glass jar here. And you start by I'm gonna move this over a little bit. You start by just kind of spooning some in, and it's this process I'll fast forward for you because this will take a little bit, but I'll at least show you the start of it. You spoon some in here, and you can kind of push it through this fine mesh stream. So we'll do that, and you can just kind of push it through there. And you can kind of see the hot sauce is pouring through that in the bottom, and it's leaving all of the pulpiness of the pepper on the top. Okay, so as you add the pulpy mixture into the strainer is obviously going to keep the bulk of that pulp out of there. You're going to see a lot of the actual sauce dripping in the bottom, getting that more Tabasco type consistency, which honestly I think is probably, I like it. I think it's better. We're going to keep adding. You just kind of keep going. Like I said, I'll fast forward a lot of this, but you just keep going in there, adding it, and then mixing it. Okay, once you get to the point where you have a decent amount of this pulp in here and you have the fluid, what you think to be pretty well drained out, it's still dripping some right here. You need to there's a lot more actual pepper juice in here that's still clinging to the fibers of that pulp. So this is where the microfiber towel comes in, or a cheesecloth is fine too, but the microfiber cloth I think does a better job. So you lay it out, clean work surface obviously, and then you can kind of pour this pulp into the microfiber towel like so. Get it up in a, fold it up at the corners, and then from here you'll start to see, you can kind of actually set this right here. It's gonna get a little messy, the work table, but that's okay. So then you can start to kind of squeeze it, as I'm doing here, and a lot of that juice will continue to run out of there. There's a lot more pepper juice in there that would have been lost if you didn't do this process. I mean, I guess you don't have to, but this is really gonna have a lot more juice in there. Okay, so when it's all said and done, this is what we're left with. We have, I don't know, maybe a gallon or so of this hot sauce. Plenty, more than one person can use in several years probably. I did save the pulp, the leftover strained pulp from the Carolina Reaper and the Ghost Chili hot sauce, as you can see here. Now if you're brave enough, you can dry this out like a food dehydrator, or even in like an outdoor oven or something. You don't want this in the house because the aerosolized, you'll start hacking and coughing from it. But you can dry this out and grind it into a powder if you'd like to. I don't know. I'm on the fence. We'll see. Just from being around it and breathing it in is pretty rough. So we'll see what I do with that. But in the meantime, though, I bought some of these glass jars, these hot sauce jars, on probably Amazon. And I like to fill a few of these up and hand them out to some friends, some people that like hot stuff. And then also just to, somebody wants to try it out, you can do it in these smaller jars here. Then I fill like the bulk of it up in more of a leftover like whiskey or bourbon jars or something like that, glass jar that it can kind of sit in, and you can put it in the fridge and it lasts a long time. But before I do that, I should probably taste it to make sure I have the right amount of vinegar in here, but I'm really pretty scared to do that, so hang tight. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and finish this up. I wanna make sure I have the right amount of vinegar in here before I go bottling it up, and I don't know, wish me luck. The way I've been just handling it and breathing it in general, it's pretty rough stuff, so I'm gonna give it a whirl here. Man, I'm nervous, I'm not gonna lie. And we'll see if it's got the right flavor profile to it. Although again, it's definitely gonna just be hot. You might get a little flavor in the beginning, but as soon as that capsaicin hits, you're done. But I wanna make sure I have enough vinegar, because you wanna add vinegar now, really, after, if you need to add more. Holy crap. Wow, that's hot. But that is delicious. Ooh. Whew. I'm gonna start sweating. You'll see my bald head sweat here in a second. Wow. Wow. And the thing is, the heat doesn't quit. It just keeps going and going. Whew. Oh, quick tip though. If you want to kill that heat, you need milk-based products like yogurt or sour cream or milk or something, and that will dash it. Luckily though, wow, that is hot though. And the thing about this stuff, it just stays and stays and stays. It's still hitting me. is a very, holy crap, is a very hot pepper. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, please hit like and subscribe. That would mean a lot, and we'll keep going. Thank you.